All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and great glory to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Achakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, and salutations to the elect, pushing this truth to the four corners of the earth and truth and its sincerity. All right, in this particular video, I want to touch on this video that you see on your screen right here. All right, Vice President DJ Vance says no agreement reached after 21 hours of peace talks with Iran. Right, they were supposed to be having peace talks right now. 21 days of peace talks. If peace does not, if a deal is not reached, war is going to commence again. Now, war could happen before, that, because there's really going to be no deal that's going to be reached, man. Because they both have red lines that oppose one another's red lines. For example, Iran says that it's going to continue to enrich uranium. It's not going to give up its ballistic missile program. It's not going to tell its proxies to lay down its arms and some other bullshit that America's talking about. It's not going to do that. All right? But America's red lines is for Iran to give up their support to the proxies. They want the proxies to lay down their weapons. Want them to give up their missile ballistic program. Just certain things. It's just like, that was always never happening. So this is about the third round of these so-called peace talks, and they both coming to the table with the same shit, bruh. With the same shit. The only thing that's different now is that Iran is now like, bruh, like DJ Vance is about to lay it out. Iran is like, bruh, look, if you ain't listening to us, man, fuck you. Like, Iran is standing on business. The weak is saying that they are strong, pursuant to Joel 3:9-10. You got the weak that beat their plowshares and the swords and tuna hooks into spears, which means they got up their military might over the years. And that includes even getting nuclear capability or close to having nuclear capability, 2 weeks away from nuclear capability. This right here really puts you on the map. North Korea was weak, and Trump was over there fucking with North Korea his first term. You don't fuck with them no more. Why? Because they got nukes. And they will shoot a nuke, like, you know what I'm saying? So, the weakest say that they are strong. We are seeing that right now. All right, so Iran is like, we don't want a deal with you at all. Oh, Slovakia. Iran said we don't want a deal if you come in with that forked tongue, unrealistic, points that you want, like, unrealistic red lines and shit, man. No. All right, but what's going to happen next is Iran is like, we know that y'all going to do a ground invasion, and we can't wait till you do a ground invasion. We can't wait. As a matter of fact, that's when we're going to show you our true power. And if you read Joel 2:20, it says, on down, it says, I will drive off the northern army and drive them to a land barren and desolate, roughly paraphrasing. And that land is Saudi Arabia. And across, this is with its face toward the EC. The EC is the Euphrates going into the Persian Gulf. And across that Persian Gulf is what? Iran. And that's where America's focus is on right now. It's at the hinder part toward the Red Sea. Right? What it said, the utmost sea, but the utmost sea is the Red Sea, which that's shut down too right now by the Houthis. The Canal Suez is shut down too. And that's responsible of 12% of the crude oil for the world, and then that's shut down as well. It says, and their stink shall come up, and their ill savor shall come up. So America is going to go to war, and it's going to be sent over there into Saudi Arabia, which them troops are over there right now in the Levant. All right, that Gulf region over there in Saudi Arabia. All right, the Marines and the 82nd Airborne. You got the Marines, you got the Army, you got the Navy deployed. Also the Air Force. Man, it's a third world war, man. And if negotiations stop, watch. The war is going to escalate even further. The prophecy will jump off the page, man. Because right now we got Jeremiah 50 and 45 jumping off the page. The least of the flock, which is Amalek, drawing them out, which is America's the them, out to what? World War. We're seeing it. And America's trying to backtrack, have peace talks, and all that. But they can't leave Israel to defend by itself because Israel will get wiped off the fucking planet Earth. And Israel keep popping off on these niggas because they know in order to achieve the mission that they want, they need the United States. You see? But America's been drugging this war and can't get out of it. Because Israel got a spirit on them, man. The Lord, Proverbs 21 and 1. The king's heart, which is the mind, is in the hand of the Lord. The Lord's in control of what these nations is thinking and stuff like that. So yeah, America's drugging a war it can't get out of, man.
Well, good morning, everybody. And let me say a couple of notes of appreciation. First of all, to the Prime Minister of Pakistan and to Field Marshal Munir, who were both incredible hosts. And whatever shortcomings of the negotiation, it wasn't because of the Pakistanis, who did an amazing job and really tried to help us and the Iranians bridge the gap and get to a deal. We have been at it now for 21 hours, and we've had a number of substantive discussions with the Iranians. That's the good news. The bad news is that we have not reached an agreement, and I think that's bad news for Iran much more than it's bad news for the United States of America. So we go back to the United States having not come to an agreement.
No, Iran got oil. The United States ain't got no crude oil. Well, America got a lot of crude oil, but it creates light, sweet crude. All right? Light, sweet crude. They don't produce the crude that the refineries that they have here built in America. They don't produce that type of crude that the refineries are built for, which is sour, heavy crude. You see? That's why America gets that oil from other places. See? That's the only way it makes sense. How do you have a lot of oil and oil refineries, but if the Straits of Hormuz closed, which is responsible of only 30-something% of that 20% of the world's oil, then how is this a crude oil? How is this affecting America like that? Well, because they're refineries, man, and the type of crude that it is. I mean, there you go, the type of crude that it is, man. So, hey.
We've made very clear what our red lines are, what things we're willing to accommodate them on, and what things we're not willing to accommodate them on. And we've made that as clear as we possibly could, and they have chosen not to accept our terms. Questions?
Sir, Nick Robertson from CNN. Precisely what have they rejected here? Can you help us understand it a little bit?
Well, I won't go into all the details because I don't want to negotiate in public after we negotiated for 21 hours in private. But the simple fact is that we need to see an affirmative commitment that they will not seek a nuclear weapon and they will not seek the tools that would enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon.
Basically getting into uranium enrichment. And let's not forget, before the first strikes in February, I believe it started in February, Iran already said that they was going to stop enriching their uranium down to 0. But Mons was like, oh, nope. See, they wanted to attack Iran. Iran remembers all this, man. And those that have been keeping up remembers this as well. That they were talking about enrichment of uranium, saying you don't need 60% enrichment uranium. If you're saying that you need it for nuclear energy, that's only the 2 to 3% that you need. Why is the 60%? Because 90% you can make weapons grade bombs, nuclear bombs, right? So they got Iran with that one. Iran like, oh, it was a peaceful program. But other people say that they increased that uranium like that to get to bring America to the negotiation table, so that they can get some sanctions and shit off of them or whatever. But Iran, hey, been at this negotiation table with America time and time and time before, man. Well, hold on for a second, man. Right. Been at the negotiation table with the United States time and time again. They already said that they will go down to a certain level of enriching their uranium. Like, okay, you said 60% is too much, we'll go down. And then after they went down to like 20-something%, and to show good faith in the deal, they came back and said, you know, we don't even want them to enrich 1%. They remember that. So then it shifted. Like, hold on, y'all just don't want us to have a program, nigga. We got the right to do that. But if y'all say y'all want us to have nuclear energy, and we say, and look, we'll enrich our uranium down to such and such percent, these lower percents. Them niggas said they don't even want us to Iranians to have no enriched uranium, and if they get any uranium, it has to be shipped out or purchased from another country somewhere, man. But they remember all of this, man. So Iran stepping up to the negotiation table, like, yo, first of all, it's a foolish thing to step up to the negotiation table with these heathens. Anyway, this is the third time you trusted this heathen, man. But you know, but they stepping up to the table with a little bit more ferocity now, man. A little bit more serious, man. You know?
And they will not seek the tools that would enable them to quickly achieve a nuclear weapon. That is the core goal of the President of the United States, and that's what we've tried to achieve through these negotiations. Again, their nuclear program, such as it is, the enrichment facilities that they had before, they've been destroyed. But the simple question is, do we see a fundamental commitment of will for the Iranians not to develop a nuclear weapon, not just now, not just 2 years from now, but for the long term? We haven't seen that yet. We hope that we will. Jen.
Was there a framework on anything? And also, did the Iranian program...
It's not mathing. If they can't make nuclear weapons, if their army is crushed, their generals is defeated, basically you're ruling the skies. You can just fly back and forth like y'all say and all this other stuff. And they're years away because you fucked their nuclear sites up so bad. They're years away from even creating a nuclear missile, even if they wanted to. Then I'm not seeing why you're over there. See? Because it's a fucking lie. You see? It's a lie. They're not, they don't rule the skies over there. They're getting shot down. They're scared to move. The soldiers are scared. They're quaking. All right? The Iranians are standing boldly. They're standing strong. They're the ones that's saying, all right, we'll tell our side to stop shooting missiles. They're the side that got Israel looking like fucking Gaza right now. Phone chime in. See, we're witnessing this perception of invincibility that these Edomites done had. We're seeing that dissipate, all right? We're seeing the humbling of these heathens, man, these Edomites, man. What it was just a minute ago, they was talking about how technological they were when it was 10 men was jumping out of helicopters shitting on about 100, 200 of Maduro's men. Don't sound like they're doing that over there. With people with real militaries, with real missiles, hypersonic missiles, they got helicopters and tanks and shit too. They got special forces and shit. It's a whole different breed, bro. All right, what's going to happen is there's going to be no fucking deal. All right, there's going to be no deal. And I'm going to tell you something. Russia's going to get into this too. And Russia not going to want to make no fucking deal with the United States either. As a matter of fact, I was quoting a lot of those precepts, but I want to grab this one. It's going to get to the point where Russia not even going to want to deal with America. Ain't no coming in between and saying, look, we're condemning this attack that you did. Da, da, da. Nah. These niggas is only going to want the destruction of America very soon. This is Isaiah 13 and 17, and we read, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. These Medes in this case is talking about the Russians, man, against them. Who's the them? America. all right, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. You can't pay them off. Ain't no sitting at the table. We're gonna fund you here. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do that. You can't even give them a certain amount of money. Only thing they're gonna want is destruction of America. Their bows also shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. That's right. So when they shoot their nukes, they're not gonna say, hey, before that, hey, get the children and the pregnant women out. We don't want to fuck them up. No, when the Lord put the Spirit on them to press that button, that's it. Everybody's getting hit. All right, but the elect, and the Lord will be putting the Spirit on them to press that button. As a matter of fact, we're gonna grab it. Let's get Ezekiel 39 and 3, and we read. And I will smite the bow, thy bow. That's talking about your nuclear capabilities. You know, these nations' nuclear capabilities. Those nukes in the silos. The Lord says, and I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thy right hand. That's right. The Lord said he's going to instigate. He's going to cause those nukes to get shot off, man. That's like somebody has an arrow cocked back. And they don't want to shoot it yet, but they got it cocked back, and somebody slaps the hand that's drawing the bowstring and causes the arrow to fly out of thy right. That's how the Lord says he's going to do. He's going to put the Spirit on these heathens, man. He is going to instigate this whole thing. He is going to put the Spirit on them and have them shoot nukes on each other, man. That's right.
Assets come up, and did you reach any conclusions on those closing assets?
We talked about all those issues, Jen, and we talked about a number of issues beyond that. And so certainly those things came up. But again, we just could not get to a situation where the Iranians were willing to accept our terms. I think that we were quite flexible. We were quite accommodating. The president told us, you need to come here in good faith and make your best effort to get a deal. We did that. And unfortunately, we weren't able to make any headway. Preston.
Mr. Vice President, how often did you communicate with President Trump throughout the negotiations? There were reports that there were multiple rounds, where there were breaks in between negotiations. How often did you communicate with the president throughout those rounds, and what was he saying as you were going through these negotiations that you said fell short?
Yeah, obviously we were talking to the president consistently. I don't know how many times we talked to him, a half dozen times, a dozen times over the past 21 hours. We obviously also talked to Admiral Cooper, to Pete, to Marco, to the entire national security team. We talked to Scott Bessent a number of times. So look, we were constantly in communication with the team because we were negotiating in good faith. And we leave here with a very simple proposal, a method of understanding that is our final and best offer. We'll see if the Iranians accept it. Thank you.
They're not accepting it, man. Your final and best offer. Oh, that's your words. That's your words. Because if it has to do with anything with the red lines that they have already set, then there's going to be no deal. All right? And yes, still, at the middle of this month, which we're only a little bit of days away, there's going to start to be in talks about gas shortages, man. 2 months and some change, they talking about a famine here in the United States. Anyway, hope it was edifying. Hope you can take something from this. Hey, repent. We are at the end. Shalom to all the brothers and sisters out there that may stumble across this video. All right, shalom to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone on down. And with that, I'm going to say shalom.